Of the 7 wealthiest counties in the country, 5 of them border Washington, D.C. That includes the 2 richest. Now, this might shock you. Isn't D.C. a government town? How could it possibly be so wealthy? Where's all the money coming from?
They're making so much money in tech stocks that they've actually made more money this year than ever before.
There's a lot of people that come here for government jobs, a lot of lawyers.
A lot of corporate types, lawyers, lobbyists.
In this video, we will take you to 3 of the richest towns in the DC area to show you what they're like.
Bro, check out this car in the McLean parking lot. All right, so we're coming up on a home that the UAE bought for $27.5 million. This right here is the home where RFK Jr. tried his first seed oils.
And at the end of this video, we'll explain to you how the extremely unique DC economy works. This past year alone, the Department of Defense spent $600 billion, and the 5 biggest recipients of that money were all DC based. Come with us to the richest suburbs of our nation's capital.
Okay, the first thing I gotta mention is I don't like the way he says filthy rich. I mean, we all want to be rich. I don't want to be called filthy, okay? Your mindset has to be different, guys. I know a lot of you guys don't listen. You are in denial. But I keep telling you guys, and I came across this video, and I want to react to this video for a reason. Because this, it's going to show you that everything I'm telling you, is on point. The rich are getting richer. Everybody's going broke. McLean.
The first town we visit is McLean, Virginia. McLean is just 10 miles from Washington, D.C. and is home to some of the most beautiful estates in the D.C. metro area. But much of it looks ordinary.
This right here is a classic McLean, Virginia street. So this home...
I just spoke to a couple of gentlemen that are looking to start their home care business in Virginia. If you're watching this video, this is who you should be targeting. Targeting the city of McLean, okay, and the 2 other cities or towns in that area. And there's money here. You don't need that many people. You don't need that many clients. 2, 3, you're good. Look at all this money. If you go to people like this and you're charging them $35 an hour, $40 an hour, they will not take you seriously. I'm telling you, right? They won't take you seriously. In fact, they'll be laughing behind your back, be like, this dummy. They don't know, like, we're worth $100 million. They're charging us $35 an hour. What's wrong with these people?
Home right here goes for $2.4 million. Now, this home is one of the more classic McLean, Virginia homes. A lot of the homes here were built in the 50s and 60s. This house here is still going for $1 million.
Despite having streets that look like regular suburbs, the median listing price for homes in McLean is $2.8 million. Yet if the regularness of the homes doesn't surprise you enough, come with us to McLean's downtown.
Like, look at this. You'll see, BMW and an Audi and a Jeep parked for what looks like a shopping mall you can see in.
All right, so notice how this neighborhood looks like any other neighborhood, but look at the wealth that's there. Even the kind of cars that these people drive, they're not flashy like that. They're not driving Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and all this stuff because it attracts the wrong attention. When you're worth like $10 million, $20 million, the last thing that you want is people knowing that you have money when everybody around you is struggling. You know what I'm saying? This is how you invite problems into your life. So if you go to start having your haircut done in a place like this one, let's say you've started your home care business in Virginia. Instead of you getting your haircut in your neighborhood where you live, go to McLean's oldest barber shop and start getting your haircut over there. Maybe your haircut is probably going to be $100, but at least when you go to a barber shop like this one, once you start becoming a regular, you're going to get some real game. You're going to start to know who's who moves what. Like, you're going to know who's who in that neighborhood. And that's going to allow you to be in the mix, okay? Without necessarily living there, you'll be in the mix because when you're at a barbershop, most barbers are the ones that know what's going on. Anytime that I need to know the happenings of any neighborhood, town, city that I'm at, and I travel a lot, by the way, different countries, different cities. Anytime I need to know what's going on in that city, I go to the most popular barber in town. and then I just have a conversation, and they just give me all kinds of game, all kinds of information. Before you know it, you'll be introduced to like some millionaire who comes to get his hair cut in there, but that guy looks regular, but he's probably worth $10 million or $20 million. That's how you network, without breaking the bank.
Youngstown, Ohio.
Now, McLean has long been a rich town with top-ranked schools. In fact, this article from the Washington Post in the 1980s highlights Fairfax County, the home of McLean, as the richest county in the country. But the level of wealth in recent years has soared.
All of my neighbors, like my next door neighbors, 1.8 million. Across the street, 2 million. Across the street, 1.8 million. It used to be rural, like horse country, and it's been developed into newer houses, newer mansions, if you will.
Yeah.
It's a huge government contracting area just because of the government here. I grew up here. I was born and raised here.
Wow.
So I'm rare.
Yeah.
Most people are transient.
So in this neighborhood, like he's saying, you have to understand what kind of people live there. These are government contractors. These are, ex-military people, diplomats, retired people. Those are the ones that live in that neighborhood. So understand the demographics and how they move, so you'll be able to better cater to them. So if like most people are lawyers, investors, and all this stuff, you understand that these are people they're no-nonsense people. Their reputation is everything. They're all about discretion. You have to study what rich people like, what they don't like, so you can better serve them. One of the things that these people that work for the government or work with the government value is privacy. They don't want somebody to, come and work for them, a caregiver coming to work for them, that likes to run their mouth all the time. Somebody with a high level security clearance doesn't want somebody who's TikToking all day long, Facebooking and doing Instagram all the time and TikToking. Dropping locations. That's the kind of stuff they don't like. So you better be able to articulate you're a caregiver, a home care agency, but that also understands the needs of this type of clientele. They value security, they value discretion, privacy. Can you offer that?
They move here mostly because of the government. Government contractors, especially the people that own the companies, make a lot of money. I own a swimming pool company, and a lot of my customers own contracting firms. Then they go on to sell their companies and make millions of dollars. The big thing is...
Did you hear what he said? That gentleman he owns a pool company. You know what I'm saying? He's making so much money.
Influx of new residences. There used to be big properties like 5-10 acres, and they rezoned it so now you can put 5 houses on 5 acres. I don't know, you just get a different level of wealth. I don't want to say it's less simple, but people had normal houses back in the day. You know what I mean? Back in the 90s, they're nice houses, but that's what I mean. The priority is having a big house instead of a big yard. I'm a very small business, right?
Yeah.
This has been one of the best years that I've had. I've seen in 10 years. But
best years he's seen in 10 years. Even though everybody's struggling in 2025, this guy who probably cleans pools or remodels pools for the rich, this is the most money he's ever made in 10 years, guys. What does that tell you? And this guy is known as the pool guy, the main pool guy in McLean, Virginia. You can be just like this guy, but for the home care business. That's the goal, to be the premier elite home care agency for the wealthy in McLean, so you can be rich. Yeah, he's saying it's a small business, but this guy's probably touched like $500,000 to $1 million in 2025. I can assure you that, just from cleaning pools or remodeling pools. That's the kind of level of wealth you guys can reach. So let me look at the population of McLean. I went to Wikipedia here, McLean, Virginia. It says here, the community's population is 50,773 as of 2020. That's 5 years ago. So it's probably going to remain the same, 50,000 people. Do you understand how cheap it is to target 50,000 people? Of course, you're not going to be able to target all 50,000 of them, but let's say 40,000 of these people, because a lot of them might not be on social media. So imagine you're hitting 50,000 people on social media, right? When they're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TV. You can do TV commercials. They're not that expensive at all. Just to 50,000 people. Do you know how incredibly cheap that is? Very cheap. Let's see what else. McLean is home to, you see, it's home to many wealthy residents such as diplomats, military members of Congress, and high-ranking government officials. These people understand what they like. Go to ChatGPT and find out what do high-ranking government officials like. And a lot of these people, like once they put down like $2 million or $5 million on a mansion in this neighborhood, they're not leaving until they're retired. They retire there, they die there, because they can afford it. All you gotta do is invest in targeting and being the premier agency in that neighborhood, and you'll win every single time.
The richest of the rich, they're making so much money in tech stocks and energy stocks that they've actually made more money this year than ever before.
And by the way, this guy's right. There are about 400,000 contractors in the greater DC area. They work from small firms like this one in Loudoun County to much bigger contracting firms like Boeing. But we'll get to that later. If you want to see old money in McLean, you've got to see this neighborhood over here, which is home to some pretty famous Americans. All right, we're walking up to a landmark right here. This is Hickory Hill, the longtime home of the Kennedy family. RFK's family, RFK Jr. grew up here. He talked about how this used to be more countryside, riding his horse around.
We lived at Hickory Hill, which was about 7 or 8 minutes from the White House. We had a lion, we had, the seal in the pool, and my mother played a big...
Lions and seals in the pool. You see how they talk? You see how these rich guys talk? And you're approaching him by like $35 an hour. What's wrong with you guys? What's wrong with you? Why would you charge, people like them $35 an hour? You crazy? You're lowballing yourself. The numbers that these people understand is like $500 an hour, $300 an hour. Those are the levels that they understand because they can afford it.
Big role in that. Horses that were galloping free in the yard, and that she would sometimes ride through the house.
I mean, come on. This part of McLean is...
The question I get the most is, Mama Cheryl, can anyone really learn to sing? And honey, let me tell you what I've learned.
Really incredible. Another just amazing home. This house right here is a $9 million house. This new one under construction is going for $18 million. It's 24,000 square feet. Got a little dome at the top. I mean, it's just insane real estate around here. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, just looking for a house here. All right, so we're coming up on a home that the UAE bought for $27.5 million.
That's the other thing that's happening in that neighborhood. It's being bought up by a bunch of Arabs. The Emiratis are buying, the Saudis are buying, and these people are used to elite services. Some of these people will retire in these mansions. So you got to understand also the demographics that are changing. So if you're a home care agency that is catering to the Saudis or Emiratis, what do they like? What are they into? Investigate stuff like that. So you can charge, so you can charge them like $500 an hour or $1,000 an hour. Because they can afford it. To them, money is nothing. Have you ever seen like these Emiratis and the Saudis? They don't play.
Last year, its most expensive home last year sold in the DC area, but they now have a portfolio of $200 million worth of homes. Folks, this is about as close as we're gonna get to it. Yeah, so that house is 21,000 square feet, and it's really odd that it's like less than a mile from the CIA. It's not just in McLean, by the way, that Arabs are investing money. Wealthy Arab citizens and even governments have been pouring money all over DC. So lately, Arab countries have been making huge purchases in the area, including at this famous estate. This is the childhood home of Jackie Onassis. Now, Saudi Arabia bought it for $43 million. The official buyer was the Embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia,
But again, they're really expanding their footprint here. And then right next door to Marywood, Qatar has bought even more real estate. It's bought...
The Qataris got too much money, man. They got too much money. They don't even know what to do with it.
House right over here, and it's bought over $50 million worth of land on the Potomac. They're gonna build some insane homes.
One other interesting note about McLean is that it's right next door to the CIA.
The CIA is right here. So the CIA located in Langley, Virginia, which is really part of a McLean.
And they're there for security. That's why they're so close to the CIA and stuff. They want to be around, other people that are wealthy. They want to feel safe. Money's not a problem for these guys.
Lane is located right there. We would really like to stay alive for the entirety of the video, so we are not going to get any closer than that.
Our next stop is also in Virginia, the beautiful town of Great Falls. By the way, before we get to Great Falls, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to hit subscribe. Our purpose on this channel is to capture the world without bias or fear and to dig into important stories like this one. Back to Great Falls.
All right, we are now in the rustic, country, rural, wealthy DC suburb of Great Falls, and that's the most expensive house, 21,000 square feet. It's going for $16 million.
$16 million. I'm not going to watch the whole video, react to the whole video, but I just want to make a point here. Let's look at the population of Great Falls, Virginia. So I pulled it up on Wikipedia here. Population is 15,000, almost 16,000. Do you know how dirt cheap it is to target 16,000 people on Instagram, Facebook, TV? It's dirt cheap, guys. Dirt cheap. It's one of the wealthiest neighborhoods too in that area. Similar demographics. So we said what, 16,000 plus another for McLean, let's say 50,000. That's we're looking at 76,000. So 76,000 people who are ultra wealthy is very cheap to target these people. Now, all you got to do is learn how to do sales now. And I can help you to figure out what your branding is going to look like. How do you brand your home care agency to target the ultra wealthy? And then concentrate your marketing, your branding to focus just on a small group, small population of 76,000 people and completely dominate. Again, out of 76,000 people, maybe 500 of them are retired and old, and they need your services. You're running commercials nonstop all day long. All you need to close is like 2 or 3. That's it. Close 2 or 3. That's it. And you're sitting on good money. If you're ready to work with the best, this means that you're ready to start your home care business. You understand all these dynamics I'm talking about? And you start talking about Medicare. Nonsense. Medicare is nonsense, guys. This is where the money is. Private pay. Schedule time. I'll put a link in the description of this video. I'll talk to you soon.